So I'm sure you got the idea by now. Time Out is where we get some more personal experiences from sporting superstars and celebrities. And here we have two of them, Grand Slam champions, both of them. So let me go through the figures. The biog, as brief as possible. Ilie Nastase, two-time Grand Slam winner in singles and also in doubles 7. That's mixed doubles and men's doubles. Inducted into the Tennis Hall of Fame in 1991. In 1973, when you won the French Open, you were the first ever player to do that, to win the tournament without dropping a single set.
Happen.
Your autobiography is called Mr. Nastase, which is very important, and we'll get on to why.
Yes.
And in the US Open of 1972, when you won that, it was a venue which most people nowadays probably wouldn't be familiar with. It was Forest Hills, and the surface was not hard court, but let's see what surface it was as you beat Arthur Ashe.
And Nastase has the match right here on his racket. The Open Championship at match point. And he'll have to suffer through a second serve. Ilie Nastase off a net court ball. He is the champion.
Fantastic. Although you actually say that when you lost to Stan Smith at Wimbledon, that was your best ever game, right?
I don't want to know that.
Okay. But you said it was your greatest ever game, even though you lost.
Okay.
Marion Bartoli, 2013 Wimbledon ladies champion, beating Sabine Lisicki in straight sets. You're a career high number 7 in the rankings, and you reached the quarterfinals at each of the 4 Grand Slams. And during your career, you had to contend with possibly 4 players who will go down in history as 4 of the all-time best. So you were living in that era, playing with the 2 Williams sisters, with Justine Henin. And I'd like to actually say Maria Sharapova as well. She seems to be getting into that range of being regarded as one of the all-time greats. You were also a finalist at Wimbledon in 2007, and you actually broke a record when you won Wimbledon because no one had ever gone that many Grand Slams before finally collecting one of the big prizes. Let's see how you did it last summer in the UK on the most famous pitches, tennis court surely in the world.
Serving with new balls.
A 4th chance for Marion Bartoli to become Wimbledon champion.
Marion Bartoli and Ilie Nastase.
Well, Marion.
Thank you.
Senator, Major
Please,
General,
yeah,
how do I
whatever.
address you exactly?
Address
Explain them.
the way
You're,
you-
for a senator in
Good
Romania's
looking.
parliament, but you're also a Major General. How is
Right.
that?
I don't know. You ask.
Come on, you know it.
you
You
ask the
wore the
Romanian
military
people, I don't
uniform. John McEnroe said you looked like someone from the Village People when you wore it at Wimbledon last summer,
Right.
right?
know. It's possible. I don't
I
know.
didn't say it.
No, they compare me with a dictator from South America, but I don't know. No,
Because-
I'm a real one, okay?
Because you played for Steaua Bucharest,
Right,
which is the army
right.
club in Romania, so you became a major general. Does it give you any rights? Like, can you, walk your sheep through Bucharest for free or something?
I used to have sheep, I don't have any more now.
And
I have airplane, so it's okay.
you played in an era, it began, let's see, with Lever, Rosewall, Newcombe, and then later came Borg,
Connors.
McEnroe, Connors, who was your doubles partner. What a doubles partnership that must have
Right,
been.
right.
And then you've watched all of these guys come up. So the question has to be, the one that you will have been asked millions of times. If Lever played Federer, both at their height, who would win?
I don't know. I think every champion is his best and his time, and I don't think we should compare even in soccer. And now, I don't want to compare Maradona or Pele. Everybody was a great champion at his time, so he has to stay that way, because in the future maybe will be a better player, or I don't know, and other champions in place of Messi and Ronaldo. So that's. But I'm lucky to see all of them play. So in my mind, I can make a ranking if I want, but I don't want to.
Marion, what about you? I mean, you must have grown up watching Martina, or are you too young for that? Steffi Graf, surely.
I was more into the era of Monica Seles and Steffi Graf, and actually patterned my game towards Monica. I was playing two-handed on both sides, just like me. And the first time I had the chance to meet her and to play some few tennis ball with her, it was definitely one of the biggest moments of my life, really. When you grew up idolizing someone and you finally meet her and was able to exchange some few tennis balls, it was definitely a highlight. I agree with Ilie. It's very difficult to compare generation, to compare games. First of all, because the materials just move so much towards a more powerful game, a different game, the balls, the racket, the strings. So I guess it's just a matter of what is bringing the whole of the champion together, which is the devotion to practice extremely hard and to strive to be the best, as well as just being extremely gracious on the court. When you see Rod Laver playing or Roger Federer, they just have this kind of same aura when they play that brings everyone together.
Let's talk about the 2013 final, or actually, I should say let's talk about tears, okay? Because in the 2013 final, Sabine, your opponent, was actually crying during the match. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I've never seen it in tennis. I've seen it possibly in other sports. And the other thing about tears is that this year, when you came out onto centre court, which you should have been beginning the championship as the defending champion, but of course you retired, but you came out still to do the coin toss and you started crying. So first of all, Sabine, did you at all feel sorry for her when you saw what was happening on the other side of the net?
First of all, I'm glad you're not asking why did I retire, because I think I have these questions asking to myself more than 1,000,000 times. But, well, when we play on the court, we go through so many emotions, whether they're bad or good ones. But sometimes it's a matter of hiding them, really, which is difficult. And I can tell you, when I lost the final in 2007 against Venus Williams, I wanted to cry on the court. But I was able to kind of hold it together. Now this year, when I walked into the court, it was extremely emotional for me, not only because I didn't defend my title, but more because I was representing Elena Baltacha, who very sadly passed away at
The age of 30.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
of cancer,
So
that's right.
that was probably why I couldn't really keep it together.
What's the worst thing, Ilie, about being a professional tennis player? The best, we know, surely. You're going all over the world, you're winning money.
The worst was the traveling, because when you keep winning until Sunday, the next Monday you have to be fresh like everybody else who lost in the first round Monday or Tuesday. So that's the case right now with I think Nadal, and he's playing a lot and he's winning a lot, but people don't realize that. So I think that's tough.
Jim Courier, just as he was coming to the end of his career, he was so bored by it that he was reading books during the changeover, I mean, just ridiculous.
What kind of
I don't
books?
know. I don't know what kind of books.
Okay.
Do you think,
I don't read the same book like him, I can tell you that.
did you retire because of boredom or because you just thought, okay, I can't really compete against the very, very
It's his decision. I think, everybody retires when he feel that he cannot produces best tennis or best performance in what sport he does. And I don't agree with people that you have to retire when you're at your best. I think you've shown your best, and now it's extra years, like for Federer, for example. So he's enjoying, but he's not number one, but enjoy of a person of 30-something years. So I don't agree with that you have to retire on your best. You don't retire when you write your best book, I think.
Sure. Speaking of books, so you've written 2 books in French.
Yeah, but this was like a little fiction thing, and I didn't agree with my manager at that time to do it, but it was about tennis anyway.
Yeah, but still, to write them in French is
in
impressive.
French.
For you, Marion, was the end decision based on sort of the mental energy you've been expending just being a professional tennis player? You had a lot of injuries, of course.
Well, to make a long story very short, basically, when I started 2013, I really thought it was my last year. My whole body was starting to break down piece after piece, and I always had to practice more than the other ones in order to perform at the highest level. I just felt the 13 years in a row that I play on the professional circuit just take a toll of me, and I just couldn't do it anymore. As you said, I was the one that has to play the more Grand Slam before finally getting mine. So it was at, I think, 47th Grand Slam I finally get that victory.
Correct.
So it's about persevering and keep it chasing my dreams. But I thought when I finally got it, I still have those injuries, but I had a trophy in my hand. So it was kind of pretty easy to take the decision.
Ilie, you were very much responsible, along with a few other players, in popularizing tennis in the 1970s. It was because of the way you played the game, the way you manipulated the ball, but also because of your character on the tennis court, the joking, the tantrums. You were compulsive viewing. Did they go together? Could you have had one, in other words, the tennis skills, without the other part of your character?
Apparently it did for me. I don't know. If somebody else was trying, I don't know. But I remember Jimmy Cornos was my partner, and one day he came to me and said, "Nasty, I'm sorry, I have to tell you something." I said, "What?" I don't want to practice with you anymore because you're joking, you're putting drop shot, lob, and for me, I have to go there and be serious for 30 minutes and hit forehands. And Jimmy was the only tennis player that I know that he was practicing what he was mistaking most of the time was his forehand. So for half an hour, he was doing only forehand. We all others, we do our best shots. We're trying to fool around and all this. But he was very professional, and it shows for his results. But I do it even in practice, so that's what, I was like that,
Can you tell us the Mr. Nastase story, please?
Now, the story is when I was playing the final, I think, in Wimbledon against Bjorn Borg. I was losing badly, actually. I was down 2 sets to love, and in Wimbledon, they have all these pigeons going around, and so this piece of paper starting to fluttering like this, and then it went to my feet. So it was a young referee called Jeremy Shields, I remember. He's not anymore, sorry for that. And he said in the microphone, "Nastase, pick up that paper." So I was very upset because I was losing to Borg badly. So I said, "What did you say?" He said, "Nastase, pick up that paper." I said, "You're talking to me." So I go to him and I said, "You come and pick it up, that paper. And then from now on, you're going to call me Mr. Nastase." So every point was 0-15 Mr. Nastase. So it was like that. And the name of the book comes from him.
Mr. Nastase,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Yeah.
Marion, Andre Agassi did an interview a few years ago, and the interviewer asked him about, I think it was a match against Goran Ivanisevic at Wimbledon, and he talked about, before he could even complete the question, Agassi realized where the interviewee was going, and he described the point perfectly. I mean, he almost remembers every single shot he's played. It's ridiculous. Do you remember that clearly what happened in particular moments of almost every game?
I do, and sometimes it's not a good thing because basically you always almost remember what you missed and the shot you missed, and you kind of, before hitting the same shot, remember the missing you had 2 or 3 games before, even 2 or 3 weeks before, and you kind of doubting yourself whether you're going to make the shot or not. But we have the tendency to be computers, especially when we are on the court, and just analyzing and remembering absolutely everything. And you have to sometimes just press the erase button in order to start freshly and to kind of giving another go and thinking you're going to beat that players, even though you lost many times before. Before entering the court against Sabine, I lost 3 times in a row to her before playing the Wimbledon final. But for some reason, I was certain that on that day, on that match, it would be mine. And I was able to win Wimbledon without dropping a set. So I won 14 sets in a row, even though I never won a Grand Slam before. So there is something about sports that is, you can't really put into words, but it's the magic of it. It just, sometimes it just all click together, and we are able, all sports persons, to live some moments we will cherish forever.
Why is it that so much more in women's tennis, fathers or mothers are the coaches of the players? Your dad was your coach for pretty much most of your career.
Indeed. Well, I think, you know, the basic things about sports person, if we have to give up all our teenage time, childhood time, basically, in order to practice that much at the other ones, in order to be focused into what we want to be. So we have to decide who we want to be so much earlier than all the other kids around. I was certain to be a professional tennis player. I was 9 years of age. So you're surrounded by your family at that time, and they're the ones who are able to supporting you and to give you that strength to just keeping going every day in order to go to practice or take you to practice and be, you know, a shoulder you can cry on after a tough defeat. So those persons, those really close persons, play a huge part into your whole life, basically growing up and chasing your dreams. So I think it's kind of common to find that now it's more about the individual sport. I believe when you play a more team sport, you're basically rating to your coach. But in individual sport, it's definitely the family is playing a huge part.
Ilie, in your autobiography, you talk or write about how you helped Bjorn Borg and Vitas Gerulaitis, who's not with us anymore, of course, died at the age of 40 in very tragic circumstances. You talked about how you helped both of them overcome very serious personal problems after they stopped. What was going on with those two, and how were you helping?
Well, everybody knows about Vitas, but Bjorn I don't think was in that position. But Vitas was in a position that he used a lot of stuff that he shouldn't. But even for that, Vitas was playing his best tennis doing that. It's unbelievable. Nobody knew how can he do both things, you know. He cannot stay out of drugs. Unfortunately, for me, the drugs was a glass of wine or 2 beers, but he was doing something else, unfortunately for him.
And you were particularly good friends with both of them? With
Yeah, I
Borg
was
and
good friend
Vitas?
because, you know, I was going out of the tour and they're coming, and it's difference of 10 years. Vitas was more, I think, about 14. But like I said before, I play everybody, and I'm glad that I got the chance to play with the oldies and the young one and everybody. I play even with Pancho Gonzalez. I play with everybody.
You say beer, wine.
Yeah.
Keke Rosberg, you know the name Keke Rosberg?
No.
Finnish driver, father of the young Nico
I know
Rosberg.
Keke Rosberg, yeah.
World champion, I think 1981.
Yeah.
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
They asked him once, they said, how do you prepare Keke for a big race? He said, sex and alcohol. You know,
I don't know.
That's-
He doesn't have to run. He just the car. He's doing the car.
you know, but that's a playboy lifestyle.
He's driving.
You were a
He's
playboy.
lucky. I have to run.
How can you be a playboy and also be a professional sportsman?
No, I don't think you can do it. It's just a reputation that, you know, but, you know, you cannot do both good. That's impossible. Like Mr. Khan said, you have to be in shape. You have to be nervous when you go there. You have to be concentrate. And that's, if you do that, there's no way you cannot be the best.
Marion, so you ended your career with Amelie Mauresmo as your coach. And now, in fact, you're a good friend of Andy Murray's. Did you have anything to do with that? It's a very peculiar relationship in men's tennis.
No, my boyfriend is not Andy Murray. No, you saw my boyfriend, by the way. You can tell.
Like Federer. Show me the picture. Show me the picture.
Right, I'll show you a picture now. No, I don't think so.
He looks like Federer, exactly like Federer.
So is that a bad thing?
You should show it to me. Not
What
a
was the
tennis
question
player
again?
Not a tennis player. Can you find somebody else?
He's not. He's just looking like Roger Federer, but he's not a tennis player. That's the best. Yeah, whatever. I don't want to lose a tennis court. That's why I'm not taking a boyfriend as a tennis player.
Did you have anything to do with Amelie Mauresmo becoming Andy Murray's coach?
No, I did. I don't. I haven't done anything about that relationship. But I think it was just a massive step forward from Andy to take the decision to hire a female coach. It's definitely a first. It has been for a long, long time, and maybe forever, just men's coaches, men tennis player. And obviously having someone who is such a high profile as Andy, taking kind of the risk to take over all the sarcasm and criticism of hiring a female coach, I think it's a very brave step forward. Now, what he's looking into the relationship with Amelie, I don't know. I would have to talk about it more with Andy, whether it's technical, whether it's tactical, whether it's mental health, maybe all of three. But I think just having the braveness to make that step and to make that first step is really already pretty impressive.
Well, Senator, Major
I'm
General.
really impressed by your shirt,
My shirt?
socks coordination. I think
Thank
the
you.
pinks all together.
This guy must be British.
Yeah. Major General, Senator Mr. Nastase, Wimbledon champion Marion Bartoli, both of you, thank you very, very much indeed. Ladies and gentlemen.